Hey everybody, how's it going? I wanted to share with you an article from the Washington Examiner. It just kind of goes over this thing that I discussed about a week ago in this video. We're starting to win. And in this video, I bring up an FTC report that is based on a Nix to Fix workshop from 2019, where they're saying a lot of things that we've been saying all along. That the claims that independent repair shops are less safe and secure, more likely to screw with your data, are not supported and have no evidence behind them, and that the manufacturer's claims for why they need to restrict repairs don't seem to actually be true or supported by any evidence. It was a great report, and apparently a bunch of other people are starting to take notice. I've seen news articles ever since I uploaded this video just showing up everywhere talking about this report. It's great. So I wanted to read this one from the Washington Examiner. This is by Christopher Hutton from May 13th. It says the FTC recently released a report that revealed the demanding costs companies create by limiting a customer's ability to repair their tech products. For several years, tech companies have made it difficult, if not impossible, for a customer to repair a device they own. For example, Apple designs its AirPods explicitly to keep owners from replacing the batteries, estimated to last 18 months without destroying them. Customers typically have to buy new ones or pay for replacements that still cost nearly $100. In another example, researchers found the Microsoft Surface laptop to be impossible to repair without directly damaging the device. These repair issues do not affect just mobile devices or computers. The inability to repair products has affected many industries, from John Deere tractors to military-grade weaponry. The lack of a right to repair, as some phrase it, has concerned consumers and politicians alike. The FTC issued a report, Nixing the Fix, an FTC report to Congress on repair restrictions. Initially inspired by a workshop in 2019, the FTC spent 2 years delving into the specific data points and complaints that consumers, companies, and advocates all had about the state of repairability among consumer devices. Over that period, the FTC found several intentional design choices that limited the ability to repair a device. These included making parts inaccessible, imposing software locks, enforcing patents, and requiring the users to use company-certified repair services. Many of the companies researched by the FTC for this report claim that allowing third parties to repair devices leads to personal injury. The FTC determined that manufacturers could not provide any evidence to support the argument that injuries are tied to repairs performed by consumers or independent repair shops. And that is a direct quote from the report and should be obvious to anybody who watches my channel or anybody that's opened their phone or their remote control or whatever to replace the battery, that these people are being absolutely ridiculous. The report also found that tech companies failed to provide any evidence that the right to repair diminished a company's ability to innovate, threatened user security, or inhibited the company's ability to make competitive products. I think it would be great that the next time we do any sort of lobbying or testifying trip at a legislature that we just have t-shirts with this printed up. I think this would be a great idea, and I'm kind of curious what Nathan Proctor would think of this, that we all have t-shirts with these quotes, and it just says under it, signature, signed, FTC. The FTC concluded there is scant evidence to support manufacturers' jurisdictions for repair restrictions. It then encouraged state and federal legislators to consider right to repair bills and hopefully pass relevant legislation soon. Pro-right to repair advocates proclaim that the FTC report is a massive success. Tech repair advocacy website iFixit founder Kyle Wiens wrote, the bipartisan report shows that the FTC knows the market hasn't regulated itself and is committed to real action. What remains unclear is whether the report will lead to adoption of any right to repair laws. And this is a point that I made in my video. It's great that the FTC noticed that this is a problem. Now, what are they going to do about it? Again, many of you may know when you're in a toxic relationship, but again, do you stay or do you go? It's one thing to recognize the problem. It's another to actually do something about it. Louis Rossman, a popular tech YouTuber, mobile technician, and founder of FightToRepair.com, FightToRepair.org, has advocated for more than 6 years and welcomed the FTC report. However, he's now waiting to see if this changes anything. He has said that states debated several bills, but none of them have passed. Rossman told the Washington Examiner that many of these struggles have been due to financial and lobbying influences of Verizon, Apple, and other companies. To be clear, I know they sound the same. I said AT&T and Apple. I don't want to throw Verizon under the bus here because I don't have a particular reason to. As you can see in this video, what pisses me off about lobbyists in the United States, I went over in very clear terms how it is that this happened. If you take a look at that video, you'll see a link to Follow the Money, where I show you that an AT&T lobbying firm that testified against the bill had paid one of the senators that canceled a meeting with us the day that we were supposed to have a meeting with him about the bill. It's just one of those very funny things. But yeah, just to be clear, I remember citing AT&T, not Verizon. just to be fair to everybody involved. Wiens told the Washington Examiner he is reasonably confident this report will affect the state of the market. Last fall, Massachusetts passed an extreme automotive right to repair bill for telematics that later inspired most automotive companies to adopt similar practices on a national level. Wiens argued that while a federal law would ensure consumers more comprehensive protection, tech companies will typically adhere to the policies of the most restrictive state so that they do not have to deal with a patchwork approach to each state's policymaking. And this is one of the reasons that if you get a right to repair bill passed in one state, that it tends to snowball to the rest. That's why, as a New York resident, I support a right to repair bill in Washington. I'll support a right to repair bill in Massachusetts. I'll support a right to repair bill in Florida or Arkansas or wherever. I don't care. Red, blue, left, right, whatever. I will support a right to repair bill in virtually any state. Because at the end of the day, you cannot have a society where an ISL 9240 can only be sold in Washington, but not New York. That ISL 9240 will find itself from the state where the right to repair bill is passed to me at some point, I assure you. And one of the things that I want to bring up here is that the winning is when you have the lobbyists telling politicians, this is our argument as to why things have to be this way. And then after 2 years, a federal government agency comes out and says, we have no evidence for that. You're making that up. You're making that up. You know, again, it's one thing when a loudmouth YouTuber that curses a lot, that fixes MacBooks, and has a black kitty that sits in his lap from time to time says it. It's another when the FTC report says it in a 55-page report and makes it very clear with citations that there are no evidence for these insane manufacturer claims. This is awesome. This is really cool. Again, I think that it's really important that we not just use our own testimony, that we actually point to this. One of the things that I remember when I was speaking with, I believe it was Joel Stetkus in Maine, is it's not that they didn't believe us, it's just that they had concerns about whether this was a serious issue. You know, they asked, can you check with the Attorney General in our state? Can you check with the Attorney General as to whether or not this is an issue? Because they don't want to pass legislation that's going to result in it being overturned. They don't want to get flicked in the nose the same way I flicked my audience in the nose when they told me to reflow shit instead of check the one-wire circuit yesterday on my stream. They don't want to get flicked in the nose by federal legislators and regulators for doing something that goes outside of their bounds, that oversteps where it's not supposed to. They don't want to ruin their political career. But when you have the FTC say, A, the manufacturers lobbying against the bill are making all this up. B, we hope to see right to repair legislation pushed forward to fix these issues, it may make local legislators just a little bit less shy to actually co-sponsor a bill and get something passed. So I think it's really important when you call your local politicians, if there's a right to repair bill in your state, and many of them have, you can check repair.org to figure that out, to point out these little snippets from the FTC report. And maybe again, point them to the Washington Examiner, point them to the FTC report, point them to the news sites that they trust, where they are going to be able to see that we're not making this up. This is real. And if they do sign on to this movement, they're not going to get steamrolled by everybody else, because the support both in the public eye, but also in government agencies, is starting to grow for right to repair. And at the end of the day, that's really something that I have all of you to thank, because if it wasn't for all of you speaking about this issue, whether it was with your friends or your family members or on Reddit or on YouTube comments, or when you wanted to fix your own stuff or helping friends fix their stuff, if it wasn't for all of you sharing this, the FTC may have not looked, they may have not cared, they may have not even known. I mean, many of you spoke to the FTC when it came to this Nix to Fix thing. So, I mean, really, just give yourselves a little bit of appreciation, a pat in the back, and a round of applause for getting something good done in the world. Again, we're just moving forward step by step by step. It's just a little bit at a time, little bit at a time, little bit at a time, and eventually we are going to make our way there. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.